All right, Grings. Shit, I spelled reality wrong. I guess it really doesn't matter. Just realized that. I can fix it later if I remember. All right, so future of the U.S., a pole shift or a dystopian reality. Because you hear about it. I mean, you don't hear about it that often anymore. The pole shift situation. That's the U.S. is going to be flooded and such, and you have to go live out in Arizona or something like that, and wait for nothing to happen. But basically, U.S. is kind of tearing itself apart currently. So, and probably will get worse in the future. I mean, that energy can be shifted, but the politicians are looting the place, and obviously, there's not much we can do about it, or anyone even cares for that matter. Yeah, will there be a country even left at this point, at least in the future? Yeah, well, going into the gloom and doom of it all. But to hear about this all spiritual pole shift and or maybe the mass arrest energy and how that's going to happen, and basically just going to see like some cities are probably going to be decent, or some areas will be okay, and then other places will be kind of like now, like San Francisco. I never think that would go through what it's going through, and of course, New York, I think it's improved at some level. That's always going to have some issues, though. It's just the reality of it all. It might change in the future. I can't believe I missed the spelling of that, but I'll fix it hopefully later. So yeah, it's just the way it is. So just channel some of those energies with ideas too. Obviously, men are doing their spiritual connections for that not to happen. But they're not always paying attention to what is where things are going. Of course, things are pretty rough around the edges already. Um, yeah, right now. And also the great solar flash, and that's another one. I guess we're going to get our superpowers when the solar flash happens, and which will probably never happen. I don't think. I don't. I mean, some might be able to tap into their. I mean, you're going to tap into your powers now anyway. You don't need a solar flash to do that. But most of society is not ready for their powers or ready for anything. You can't even get through everyday life, let alone their abilities, or where you just leave this incarnation and connect to your powers that way. Because this world's not going to go anywhere. It's doing too good of what it's doing right now. It's a physical realm, and it's just going to do what it does best, and that's what it's doing now. So, also connect to the ninth dimension, just give a different perspective on everything. But yeah, as after like the debt ceiling situation, of course, many of the spiritual community can care less. And as your country goes down the drain and gets further and further into, you wonder why they can't afford to do this and that. Well, because the country's going under, sort of. Maybe not fully, but it's definitely being looted. That's for sure. So it's just isn't going to be much of anything left. I mean, there'll be something left, but it's going to go through its dark ages. We're kind of in a dark age, kind of like in a technology dark age currently. So, but either way, it's just yeah, looking at more of the reality of things. Yeah, because this whole pole shift talk, we've heard about it and are waiting for, or even was it the monetary system, the super or the galactic, whatever they call it, the quantum financial system, which we're probably not ready for that either. It's just like that's similar to the solar flash, which that's probably not going to happen. If there is a solar flash, I don't see people activate there. Some will, most won't. So that's just the way it is. How can you activate your abilities or not? If you have abilities, or I don't know, just we got a long ways for that. Some are trying to figure out how to balance their checkbook or open up a door, or You're lucky to get through just everyday life, the simple things of life, let alone connected to your multi-dimensional self and all of that. I mean, when you can't, when some are picking up on that solar flash, like you activate all your abilities and your powers, that might be like maybe out a couple few thousand years in the future, maybe 10,000 years in the future, maybe longer than that, maybe a million, maybe never. Yeah, you can get higher dimension. Well, it sounds nice. It gets you on podcasts, it gets you some attention, sell some books, and then you fade out. So unless you could come up with something else, yeah, give Instagram beach photos or something like that to get you attention. That seems to be part of the spiritual one way to get your spiritual, your numbers up. More power to you on that one. So connect to some of what does the future hold? It's slow. It's just going to be very, very slow. It's just just have to do the best we can. So oops. Oh man, it's been a while. I gotta change things around. All right, so I started a comedy private session. So schedule a shop here. I have a webinar that was yesterday. Social network, behind the scenes, and archive. Yeah, social network. Nobody's really in there. I'll just see if anyone's. There's no activity. I'll just close it down. So, all right. I was right. I have the other ET Origins. I didn't show that one here, but let's see if I can grab something from there. But anyway, yeah, the future, many are focusing on the doom and gloom. It doesn't mean it's going to have to be that way, but it's good to keep the eyes open. And you wonder why you have trouble, attracting with, and yeah, it is true. This reality, the ones that are running our realm or our timelines, want to keep us back in the 1970s or the 1960s. There is a lot of 1970s energy here. Not that people are walking around bell bombs, which would be hilarious. We probably need that right now, actually. We need anything but what's going on right now. Jeez. It's like tearing itself apart. The Target's going through its deal. Whatever. Just, growing pains. But yeah, it's like we're it's keep us from evolving. You could say those that are running our timeline. It's now who is that? Archon beings, demonic energies, whatever it might be. Well, it's to test us. It's many want to go forward, but there's always something there to pull you back. Like you want to move somewhere or go live on your own or do it, and that's not always possible. And then you wonder why I'm talking about dystopian stuff and all that, even spelling it wrong. So it's like you wonder why, because that's the reality of things. So yeah, it's not gonna be some fancy bullshit to take us out of our misery. That's many are actually waiting for that to happen. And so far, nothing. Instead, society is tearing itself apart. At least in the U.S., you don't have to look at those things, but it's doesn't. You can look away all you want; it's still happening. Yeah, it's funny how the world starts to tear itself apart. At least in the U.S., many are going more higher dimensional and trying to not pay attention to any of it, which I understand why, but. Reality will show itself eventually. Can't run away from it forever. Well, if you always recognize it's there, it's less likely to hit you. But some just want to disconnect from it altogether. And that's fine, but it's good to have some where the world's going. Maybe try to look or just live in your little universe. They don't call it the spiritual community for nothing. You just go zone off into Miramar. But you're here for a reason. You're here in the physical realm for some reason. So it's just good to have some idea. And if you just don't care for it, it still has a purpose. It has its own romanticism, whatever that means. So it just was too, yeah, of course in the spiritual higher dimensions they have their issues. Here you feel, yeah, it's like, you think the crazy is here, spiritual crazy, delusion is crazy here. That's just in the physical, and the non-physical it's probably worse. Okay, it is worse. So you kind of come here to reevaluate how you look at reality. It's like, okay, maybe I'm in too much of higher dimensions, and maybe I got to focus on the world. Because when you would focus on this reality, you can actually heal it. You know, because like modern conversations are not that exciting. Not really. Yeah, they're not. Sports, just the weather. It's like, God's dead. It's like, wait, this is a zombie apocalypse, isn't it? It really feels that way. Yeah, it's not that exciting, but eventually it will get there. It's not in any hurry, that's for sure. So, all right, so we connect to the pole shift energy, or the I don't know, I feel like the pole shift energy has something to say. That's interesting. Sure, we're bringing the pole shift energy, channel that, connect to the solar flash. That probably won't happen. It's funny because I got a bunch of heat, at least from one person a long time ago, about this mass arrest situation, because it was coming from somebody that has a huge following and telling everybody the mass arrest is going to happen, and it hasn't happened. And then some of us get, you know, yeah, get some heat. Not agreeing with it. Well, I mean, you never know, but we haven't seen it. Like Hillary Clinton's in Guantanamo Bay or something like that, or okay, whatever. Who knows? An alternative reality, probably. So we connect to the solar flash, and that's like one of these new age gurus bringing that up. So I guess I got attracted or brought to bring that up, which like I say, you bring up the solar flash and go to higher dimensions, and the person that says that walking around like they've been to the gym like 8 hours a day. And so, others get pulled into that energy and whatever. And also go into the ninth dimension, whatever they have to say there. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the pole shift frequencies. Basically, it's like an energy reset. So obviously some of you would like a reset of your reality, even your monetary system, like a reset basically, so stress levels can be released. And of course, many are feeling the stress of this reality. So yes, they can zone off to some other realm. So it's like the more stress you feel from the physical realm, many that are going to their spiritual development, I'm not sure we call it an awakening, because not many are awakening. Some feel like they are, but it's more like in a development phase, because it's different. Yes, there is a delusional phase of spiritual development, which many go through. And that's why you're part of this reality to, you are here to tap into what this reality has to teach you. Some run away from it, as you might be seeing with some of these predictions. So basically, the solar with the pole shift, solar flare is another story. That's another one. But the pole shift frequency is basically, we have cataclysms here, and even the world, yes, might go through some restraint, but also some relief of just basically our world will never be the same. And it can also bring in, yes, a new age of just new everything, basically. I'll have some kind of stress, maybe not the same way. Like this modern reality, some feel like, yes, you're kind of like being squeezed vibrationally. It feels like it's too much, like a pulse. And you're not always be able to tap into what's going on there. So, yeah, spiritual development, once again, has many phases. and everyone's on a different level. And some are on the I know everything phase, which, you know, that can be entertaining. Doesn't mean that that's true because there's so much knowledge out there. How can you know everything? Especially on the physical reality, even in higher dimensional reality. Because even there's so much you can handle. I'm like, yeah, you might have all this knowledge, and it's difficult to carry it around. Like start looking like a pulsar energy. So you even know what that means. It's like you're carrying you have elongated head beings. So it's like you have all this knowledge and your head just gets really big, but you can't walk around with it. It's kind of like that. Doesn't mean that you're smarter than everybody. It's just that you're carrying a lot. But the real is, well, the elongated head beings basically, so they can access, yes, more of their higher realm energy, you could say, to be in the physical, but also manipulate physical realities. Yes, do much with your mind, basically, telekinesis and things of that kind. Not all beings have, but well, when you're in a physical realm, you need a little bit of a physical enhancement. Now, you can't look like a human, be a human, and have those abilities also. But back then, many were just out of control, not using it properly. And some of you might remember some of that or wish not to remember it. Yeah, they're doing some soul healing. It's like, oh, was I a pain in the ass in the past? Let me think. Maybe. Especially when it comes to telekinesis and teleportation, but it's been misused many times of the past. So as for distortion, this dystopian reality currently, you think of it as another grounding. Yes, chaos in the street doesn't mean you have to be involved with that, but others are grounding the frequencies here. Especially when, yes, stores are being robbed and things of that kind. It's like it's all just things anyway. It's like, does this store even need to be here? And it's like, well, we're going to make sure it's not here anymore. So it's kind of like, as you know, materialism have kind of separated yourself from yourselves. So eventually materialism will dissipate and vanish in due time. It's not something that happens. In some it's there, but you'll keep what you need and get rid of everything else. Let's put it that way. And of course, his marriage connected to the crystal vibrations. You can't have enough crystals, basically, because crystals do have consciousness. They do have soul energy, become more part of your fractal self. Like you become the crystal itself also. Yes, you have an energy staff. You become the staff also. You become part of, reality. How many want to become, part of, like, well, some are a car, but do you want to leave your energy here as a material possession, like a car or a thrift store? Some might want to, but not many are into that. They want more out of their frequency. So that's green suit. We have the solar flash energy field. Realize the solar flash is a consciousness, of course. Some of you know that, some of you don't. So some want the solar flash energy to come in. It's like, give me my power so I can fly away and go somewhere else. um, so some that are actually talking about have been a solar flash consciousness. So they went to a world somewhere, Palladian world, wherever it might be, and actually experienced the event, on different levels. Like you've been the solar flash, or you've been on a world where it occurred. But if you've been in solar flash energy, and there's nothing like activating society and bringing it to a higher fluctuation. It's like you're giving yourself an energy bath. That's a big deal. Obviously, those in the third dimension, physical realms that are not quite there vibrationally, probably for a good reason, because you're here to ground this Earth's energy. Because Earth has a lot of knowledge that it still has not been utilized, understood, And those of the so basically a solar flash needs to come here and get reality. It needs to figure itself out. It's like I've been a solar flash, I've been high as a kite in previous lifetimes. Now I have to come here and be schooled myself. And that's a tough one. Yeah, they got, yeah, so we're gonna say solar flash gonna happen in a couple of years and it doesn't happen. It's like, wow, I'm being schooled, aren't I? Especially all the backlash when it's not going to occur. You're really being schooled there. So they don't even, are they aware of it physically? No. Like I'm not sure, I'm not being schooled by this world. I have all this knowledge and find out you are being schooled. So eventually they might figure out in their old age, because denial is going to be a great deal. Oh, it's going to happen this year. It's going to happen next year. It's going to continue. It doesn't happen. So basically, you can say solar flash energy can be misused, especially if societies aren't ready for it. So to give you different layers of that reality. Some of you do have solar flash energy within you currently, and knows like, yeah, this world probably won't let you activate it at the full level, but that's okay. You can do what you need to do currently. So there's different layers of that. So blessings. Greetings to you. Yeah, the consciousness of the ninth dimension. Realize, yes, even the ninth dimension is a world like this for our own, yes, our own reality check. Some Arcturian beings feel like they don't need this reality. They feel like humans need to go up to their realm. You're going to get to our level, but in truth, some of them need this physical realm themselves, and they're just in denial of it. They're having trouble healing themselves. Like they don't want to go through, the darkness of their own soul. And that's why some of you are here to bring them here eventually. But they want to feel, yes, that they're at a higher frequency all the time. And that's fine. But eventually, yes, they get the physical realm. They need lessons here. Now, obviously, they have difficult. Well, those that they feel that hear that word and they just can't stand it. They feel like they're being manipulated. And that might be true also. But coming here to the physical dimensions, it has so many different layers to it. Some of you know, and some of you are teachers of bringing some of these higher dimensional, the aliens here, and eventually the aliens will appear here, but they're going to be, even as the alien beings, they're going to come here, but also be schooled by your reality. And they know that. Is that they're going to be hit with it like a ton of bricks. So do they want to experience that? Do they want to be hit by that mentally? No. I mean, are they ready for it? I mean, you've been here for a long time. You're kind of used to it. But when they come as alien frequencies, it's going to hit them pretty hard. Now, obviously, there are alien beings here already, but they're kind of in a, when they do appear here, where they can control the environment, they're okay. But they're out in the wild of your planets. It's like a bunch of wild animals surrounding them. One trying to figure them out. Some here to help them. Some are trying to, like, what are you doing here? This is our planet. Get off this planet. So aliens have to figure this place out also in different ways. So there's just different aspects of your reality that you're kicking into this. So basically preparing it for multi-dimensional. Well, basically it's time to go more multi-dimensional. And many of you are preparing for it. You're preparing it for your aliens to show up. Yes, where they get a reality check themselves. And some of you can probably feel that frequency. You just can't just get on your ship and fly away, because some humans here will make sure that ship can't fly away. It's like, no, you're going to be here for a while. So,